Hey amigos, I hope you're doing well. I have been off YouTube for a while. I have a good excuse. My beautiful wife Mariana had a beautiful baby 2 weeks ago called Lenka. We're super stoked. Bubba is super cute and super awesome. And Murray's still chilling a little bit. She's not quite bouncing off the walls just yet, but she's feeling good and we couldn't be more stoked. So that's where I've been. That's the good news. Maybe you'll see Lenka soon enough. I haven't really thought about if she's going to be seen in public or not, but she's gorgeous and we adore her. So that's where I've been, but I'm back. Thank you for your patience. F chord. I was teaching a private student just near home today, and she basically said something to the effect of, oh, I hate F chords. If I see a song that has an F chord, I just skip the song. And it's like, what a shame. So of course, her lesson, we focused on the F chord, and it got me thinking there is important messages that I wanted to share with you about the F chord. So the big fat bar F chord is a nightmare for all guitarists. I'm pretty sure any guitarist worth their salt will be able to tell you when they learnt the F chord and how unpleasant it was. So we're going to do things a bit differently. It's not just about learning to play an F chord, it's also about learning why this particular chord is so important. The reason it's so important is because as a bar chord, it can be moved around the neck freely. So, spoiler alert, if you can play an F chord, you can, by extension, without changing your finger position, you keep the same shape, you're just moving around, F, F sharp, G, G sharp, A sharp, B, C, you get the point, C sharp, D, D sharp, E, it goes up and up and up. Since our beautiful camera woman's still recovering, I am filming this on my computer for the first time, so there might be some funky camera work going on. That's why bar chords are so important. Bar chords are so important because instead of having to learn a different shape for every chord, like for example, when we start learning guitar, we might learn a D chord, we might learn a G chord, an E minor, an E major, whatever. Now you need to know these. I'm not saying you don't, but you kind of have to learn them by rote. You have to just learn where to put your fingers for a D chord, for a C chord, and so on. Once you can play bar chords, the most fundamental being that F chord, F sharp, G. Like I said, just by simply moving the root note up and down the sixth string, we open up the entire neck of the guitar. I sometimes call this concept the matrix because when people get to that point of their guitar playing that they can go from just the open chords and maybe some pentatonic stuff or some basic single notes or whatever, when you get your first bar chord or chords down and you learn how to use them by navigating along the strings, that's when you've really cracked the code of the guitar, and it goes from being this mysterious thing where you put your fingers in mysterious shapes. Once you've got some bar chords down, or even just one bar chord like this F chord we're talking about today, you start to have some kind of mastery, some kind of control over, like, okay, that's an F, so that must be an F sharp, so that must be a G, so that must be a G sharp, and so on. It ceases to be kind of arbitrary finger positions. Now, of course, the open chords are fretted the way they are fretted for a reason, of course. That's not the scope of this lesson. It's important, of course. I do have video lessons on chord construction and things like that. And if this lesson is popular and I get some good feedback from you guys, we can go more down this path. But for now, as I say, this morning my student didn't like F chords, and by the end of the session, at least, I got her playing something resembling an F chord, and we talked about the importance. So she was playing like this. This is a perfectly valid F chord. So that's third finger on the third fret of the A string, fourth finger on the third fret of the D string, second finger on the second fret of the G string, and first finger on the first fret of the B string. That's just 4 strings in the middle of the guitar. That's a perfectly valid F chord. That was her kind of version of an F, even though, like I said, she said she skips songs with an F, and that's when I was like, well, we've got to do something about this. Now, to do the kind of classic core nightmare F chord, we have to take our first finger, and instead of just playing that one fret, it's got to play all 6. It's challenging, it hurts, and it's tricky. So I'm here to show you an intermediate step. Rather than have that first finger playing just that single note at the first fret of the B string, let's have it play 2 notes. It's going to play the first fret of the B string, but it's also going to play the first fret of the E string at the same time. Notice my first fret lies flat to play 2 strings. It's times like this we really miss our camera woman, don't we? I'm actually in reverse here. So it's like that bit in Smells Like Teen Spirit. That's what he plays in the verse of Smells Like Teen Spirit. Load up on guns. Just those 2 phrases. So now we're playing a 5-string F chord. It's 3, 3, 2, 1, 1. And just going from that 1 note to the 2-note bar will be challenging enough in itself. Make sure each string is ringing cleanly. But if you practice that for a while, soon enough, it won't be that hard for you to go from barring 2 strings to barring 6 strings. And we can take this 5-string F chord version that we're playing now and do exactly what I did before, simply by moving each fretted note up a semitone or a fret. A semitone equals a fret. It's an F sharp chord. If I move everything back, it's an F. Up is an F sharp. Same shape, same grip, just 1 fret higher. If you know the musical alphabet, after F sharp is G. So if I move every note of that F sharp chord up 1 fret, it'll be a G chord. Now, even my hand's getting tired now, and I've got plenty of experience, and my hand's getting fatigued. This is not the easiest thing you're ever going to do, but it is actually, without sounding dramatic, one of the more important things you will learn on guitar. Because, like I said, once you crack that matrix code of understanding that chords can be moved in a modular way up and down the neck, as long as they're bar chords, you will make rapid improvement, and you will start to understand more music theory. You'll be a better equipped guitarist and musician. So, things to look out for. One of the obvious is that when you're playing these kinds of chords, like back to this 5-string F, almost all guitarists will have a bit of weakness in that first finger, so that the high strings will be a bit muted. So I might hear something like this. I'm going to exaggerate, but it might be like, and depending how you're going at home, it might not even be that much of an exaggeration. So we really want a nice curled, these 3 fingers, a nice curled. I try to push my wrist. In this case, I'm pushing it towards the camera of the, I guess you'd push it towards your screen because you're watching this on YouTube. So you'd push your wrist towards your phone or your TV or your computer, wherever you're watching. You'd push your wrist, lift it nicely. That's a nice general exaggerated movement for a nice way to fret chords anyway. But then the first finger lays flat. So it's kind of like these 3 are curled a bit and this one's flat a bit. That definitely helps me to play an F. I think I'm going to leave it at that for now. Not that I don't have more to share, just that we're getting close to the 9-minute mark, and I've kind of said what I wanted to say, and I really right now need you guys give me some feedback. Is this making sense? Is this not making sense? And what direction do you want this discussion to go in? Because I've got a lot of passion and information I can share. I just don't want to blabber here. So see how you go with that. If you've been avoiding F, I hope the 5-string version helps. If the 5-string version is comfortable, I hope you might get to the 6-string version for the first time. Or maybe you already knew one of these versions or several of the other, any of the many other F chords that exist. Then maybe you didn't realize F sharp, G, G sharp, A sharp, B, C, C sharp, D, etc. Maybe you didn't realize the power of that bar chord to make all these other chords. If we just chuck in a couple of other bar chords, you'll be flying. And even with 1 bar chord, you can do a lot of things you couldn't do before. I hope that's helped. I am on Patreon if you want to get more involved and contact me directly, and I can watch videos of you playing and stuff like that and send you back, critiques or feedback. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.